drivers up out onto the track. Spectator tracks are one lap around. Winner goes on, the loser goes home, except for this first round where it's single elimination. So right now we've got the two-time champion John Johnson on the inside in that white Camaro, the 1986 version. And we got the 88 Pontiac Trans Am of Walter Rickenback. Green is on, today's show is underway.
John Johnson with the early nose advantage clears Walter Rickenback off of turn 2. Down the back straight they go, a drag race into 3. Rickenback loses the rear end, flies this car around, and the two-time champ so far this season, John Johnson, cruises on easily to win his first round.
One thing you'll notice about these drivers in the Spectator drags, they are not afraid to hang it out there on the track. They will push it as hard as they can to take home the win. Next two drivers coming out, and we got a pair of Stealths, Rattler Stealth and a VR4, same thing. Joe DeFarius in the 95 Dodge Stealth on the inside, Mike Benson on the outside in the red Mitsubishi VR4, and they are even Steven off of 2.
Mike Benson in the Mitsubishi, always fast when he's here. Broke last time out, great to see him back out with the nose advantage. Trouble in 3 for DeFarius. Loses the rear end as he tried to keep pace with Brett Hart.
That's going to make things a little bit interesting with these Spectator drag cars.
Next up, we got Andrew Baptiste out of Wareham, Mass. In the 85 Pontiac Trans Am. Going up against the Chevy Camaro, 1994 Chevy Camaro. Green flag wave. Andrew Baptiste wasted no time diving down through 1 and 2, trying to build that early advantage over Sam. Sam trying to close the gap now. A little bit of trouble. Baptiste maybe toying with him a little bit into 3. Steps back on it. Cruises to a first round victory.
Dave Simpson Jr. rolling out in the, no, that's not Dave Simpson Jr., that's Dave Simpson Sr. And Bob Gingras in the 49 Ford F2. Down the backstretch into 3, nice comfortable lead. Here comes Simpson, closing it back in, but not enough time, and takes down the win. Kevin Drysdale in the Honda CR-V going up against Franz Weidinger in the Pontiac Trans Am. How many people think that Honda CR-V has no chance? You'll be surprised. Waiting for the green light, there it is. And all right. As Franz blows that little Honda CR-V off the line. And you were not surprised in that one. As they come off the full car and take down the win. Next group coming out, Dave Simpson Jr. Celebrating his birthday today. This is his first Spectator drag race in a Saturn Ion. Yeah, I know, a little funky. Going up against the Chevy Corvette of Jared Smith. I don't think he's going to be, I think Jared's going to blow the candles off the birthday cake like that. Down into 3 and 4, and Jared Smith, all he's got to do is roll, and he does pick up the win over their Saturn Ion. I think they should call it an iron because it was flat.
Next up, we got Gil Bradstreet in the 84 Camaro. Bradstreet, a Spectator drag regular here. And we've seen Jeff Daniels a couple times as well, gridding up in the 06 Subaru Outback. Now I know everyone's thinking, oh, but it's a Subaru. Surprise! Jeff Daniels trying to keep pace. Gil Bradstreet, though, put the gas pedal to the floor. Jeff Daniels, though, trying to slide all-wheel drive through that turn. He makes it close. Not going to be enough time. Gil Bradstreet cruising on to the next round.
Well, thank you.
The Dodge Charger of Sean Bankert from North Attleboro. Going up against the Chevy Camaro of Joe Perry, and Perry gets the jump. Mopar this, he says. I would think that V8, that Dodge Charger sounded a lot meaner when he came out onto the track. See, doesn't it sound mean?
Sounds mean, but have no bite there.
I think it's just a little teddy bear. Looks mean, but a little teddy bear.
All bark, no bite.
Brad Johnson rolling out in the 2010 Camaro, going up against Louis Dias in the Pontiac Fiero. How many people remember the Fiero from the 80s? Watch this. Fiero keeping tight on the outside. The Camaro of Johnson getting back to the front though. And down the back straightaway, looks in the mirror and says, oh look, I think I'll call him Mini-Me. Off of 4 he comes, and Johnson takes down the win over the Fiero.
Next up, it's David Toll out of East Falmouth and the Nissan NX 2000 going up against Corey Perry in the 97 Pontiac Firebird. A classic showdown of foreign versus domestic. Away they go. And that domestic Pontiac with the Stars and Stripes spoiler out to the early lead off of 2. Corey Perry got a David Toll trying to keep it close into 3. Corey Perry elects to take the high line, gets the run down off of 4, and cruises on to a first round win. Not bad for the Nissan. Next up, we got Andrew Joseph out of Mattapoisett in the Chevy Vega of the 1975 vintage, going up against John Fielding out of Westport in the 98 Camaro. That Vega's showing some speed so far this season. Away they go. Side by side off of 2, come off of 2 together. Fielding just edging out into 3, slides down in front of Joseph, cruises on across the line. We'll move on to the winner's call in round 2. Rolling right along here. Josh Oliver is out of Swansea, Mass. in the 06 Passat. Going up against Steve Alvin, the 98 Jeep Cherokee. Wait patiently for the green flag. There it is. Steve Alvin, known for donning the red, white, and blue, cruising out to the early lead here, stretches the legs of that Cherokee, slides it off before the facade. Whoa, hold on! That's to reel that thing in. Steve Albin cruises on in the winner's call. Next up, we got Brian Hartling out of Foxborough in the 2002 Corvette, warming up his tires. Going up alongside Paul Pettipas out of Fairhaven in the Chevy Cheyenne. Away they go. Hartling quickly out to an early lead, wrapping his Corvette around the rim of the third mile here. Makes it almost no contest through 3 and 4. That Chevy power roaring across the line. Beating his older, bigger, yet older brother. And we'll move on to victory lane. Christy Pierce rolling up now in the 1978 Camaro out of New Bedford, Mass. Against Brian Westgate out of Wareham in the Chevy 1500. All red grid for this one. There you go. And Christy Pierce wasting no time down into turn 1. Boy, Brian Westgate on the brakes into 1 and 2. You can't use brakes around here. It's a spectator drag. Christy Pierce taking full advantage of that, wrapping her Camaro around the high side and moving on to the first round win. Just a couple cars left here in round 1. We got Tom Kazunis in the 95 Firebird squaring off against Liam Monaghan out of Rehoboth, Mass in the 89 Camaro. Monaghan both taking the opportunity to melt their rubber, make sure they get a nice solid start when the green flag waves. They line up side by side at the stripe. Away they go down into 1. Kazunis making sure that he can get his car around the inside. Down into 3 early. Off of 4 with the advantage. And cruises on over Monaghan. And then there was one. Richie Johnson. Richie Johnson maybe got to take. There's no buys here in a spectator drag, so they're going to put Richie Johnson up against John Johnson, an all Johnson lineup for this one. That's right, no freebies in the spectator drag. You got to earn your keep if you want to make it through the rounds. Richie Johnson making haste up towards the start. Of course, John Johnson already winning his first heat. He's rolling up on the outside, giving a little show to the fans down by the fence. Johnson on the outside, Johnson on the inside. They wait for the green. Richie Johnson rolls his Camaro through 1 and 2, leads John Johnson by 3 car lengths. John Johnson, though, is going to try and look underneath. Richie Johnson, though, going to move on and the winner's call.
I want to take a minute and remind our fans that we can't have anybody standing along the fence line during the events. That is for your safety, so if you are standing along the fence line, please return to your seats.
who spun in his first round, going up against Robert Gingras. Dirk can move around here, side by side, off of 2. Gingras has to check up just a little bit to avoid contact. Winchenbach steady through 4. Winchenbach is a 100. Winchenbach just enough of an advantage over Gingras. Redeems himself after 1 to get a win on the day.
Yeah, my cousin. Yeah. Yeah.
His first round. Going up against Dave Simpson in the Chevy S10. Hopping off of the front line, doing so again here, stretches the legs of that Mitsubishi early in this one, wraps it off of 4, not even going to be close. Cruising on to round 3. Next up, Joe DeFarius against Franz Leidinger. Trying to keep pace on the outside, but it's Leidinger to charge back on the inside. Drag racing off of 2 now. DeFarius pokes the nose out ahead. Still tied together off of 4. It's going to be a close one, folks. And I think DeFarius on the outside. Number 3, the Dodge Stealth DeFarius, just taking it at the line. That was as close as it gets, folks. Rolling right along. Next up, rolling on here in round 2, Andrew Baptiste on the inside in the 85 Trans Am against Jared Smith in his 1990 Corvette. Away they go. Baptiste charges down through 1 and 2. Jared Smith trying to make it a close one, steps out on him off of 2. Tries to reel it in and make a run into 3. Jared Smith around the outside, big run off of 4. Not going to be enough though. Andrew Baptiste with just enough at the line. Dave Simpson Jr. rolls up in his Ion. Boy, is this a mixed match. Surface getting clear now. 12, Simpson off to a good jump. But Sam Hernandez in that Camaro, using all the horses under that hood to cruise through 3 and 4. High off of 4. Hernandez rolls across the line. We'll move on in the winners column. Next up, Kevin Drysdale, back for more with that stanced Honda CRV. Boy, if you like rice and that thing, you think that thing is nice, then that thing is for you. But what's the CRV gonna have? for Gil Bradstreet, who's always quick in his Camaro. Showing us yet again, spit, smoke, and pop and exhaust down into one. Bradstreet tucks down in front of Drysdale. Drag race down into fourth. Drysdale, though, trying to keep up.
Yeah, there's no keeping up there as Bradstreet dominates that one.
Next up, Jeff Daniels, back for more in the 06 Outback. You know, I used to drive a car like that, Kevin. Going up against Andrew Joseph, back for more in the 75 Vega. Away they go. Jeff Daniels putting that all-wheel drive Subi to work.
That little Vega on the inside. Oh, they touched on the back straightaway. Into 3 and 4. Here they come. It is the Vega taking down the wind. If they didn't touch, man, it was darn close. All right, so here's the deal. We still got plenty of spectator drag racing left, but it is time to roll out the monster trucks, ladies and gentlemen.